Y'all ever notice how some of the hardest choices we have to make in life are the ones that there's literally not a manual for, like no instructions? Now, I'm not talking about the big dramatic choices, the ones that everybody posts. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag what do I do? I'm talking about the small stack of decisions. Do I finally list all of those projects I've made on my live so that they're not taking over my office and Sam's game room? Do we plant more veggies like Sam wants to do? Or do I sneak a couple more flowers in because honestly, they cheer me up a little bit more. Plus, they bring in pollinators, right? So there's my argument, right? Right? We'll have to see. Do we build a chicken coop and wake up to real eggs? Or do we sign up for a whole new chore that'll eat our weekends? It's like life just hands you a little stack of yeses and nos and says, pick wisely. Your future will thank you. Lately, my brain's been doing that ridiculous flip flop about everything. I'll see a woman with the cutest little soap bars and I'll think, maybe I should finish that batch of soap I started because I actually did buy all of the supplies. And I told Sam jokingly, hey, if I get really good at this, you know me, I might just start selling it. And then I remember the sack of crafts that I haven't even listed yet, the garden that needs planting, and the front of the house that could use a bit of love and some flowers. It's a parade of good things asking for yeses. And my calendar is over here whispering, where are we going to fit that in? One thing at a time. But what gets me is the worry of choosing wrong. Not like picking the wrong paint color because I've done that, if you know, you know. But choosing something that pulls you away from the things that matter most. I don't want to say yes to a new side hustle only to miss family supper because I'm answering emails and people fussing at midnight when I should be sleeping. I don't want to say no to something that I'll regret not trying. So I wait. I make a list. We weigh the cost, the time, the money, the energy, and sometimes we even overthink it until poof, ADHD brain saw something shiny and now it's gone forever. And I know I'm not the only one. I see it in the women who private message me after a live. How do you know when it's launched something new? Or the friend who keeps saying yes to every single event that comes up in our community and they only end up exhausted and grumpy. Or the neighbor who wants to say yes to a leadership role, but they need kind of a little bit of courage to say no because their family needs a bit more attention. These are real life choices that really sit heavy because they're wrapped in people and seasons of obligations. So today, before we dive into any stories, do me a quick favor. Grab you a piece of paper. I want you to write down whatever little decisions have been weighing on you, nagging you, pushing you. Hold it in your hands. Notice how it feels. Is it heavy? Is it light? Does it make you anxious? Keep that feeling with you for a minute because I want to talk through how faith and practical sense can help us know when to say yes and when to take a step back. All right, pour your coffee, find your comfy spot. Let's do the thing we always do. Be honest, laugh a little, and sometimes we even get a little teary or I get loud. But hopefully, we will leave with a tiny little nugget we can actually use this week. Hey, y'all, welcome back to Unscripted Conversations. I'm Ashley, and I am so glad you hit that play button today. Today, we're going to be sitting around the table talking about those everyday decisions that somehow feel bigger than they look. The I do and I don't that tug at our hearts and our calendars. We're going to be real about some practical things and about some of the quiet ways that God nudges us when He's trying to say yes or no. And I hope to leave you with something that just might make your next choice feel a little clearer and easier. So make yourself at home. Let's jump in. Lord, would you quiet our minds and soften our hearts for a minute? Slow us down long enough to hear your voice. Keep me quiet, God. Speak through me. Reach the one listening who's wrestling with that decision. whether it's a big one or a small thing, that will not let them rest. Give us wisdom that's steady, courage to say yes when it's your yes, and a peace of mind to walk away when it's not. Help us to trust that you care about the little things and the big ones also. Nothing in our hands is too small for your care. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Okay, before we go any further today, let's circle back for a minute and talk about last week. We were talking about the woman at the well, showing up in the quiet, doing the small things nobody notices, and how those little choices matter. Y'all sent the sweetest messages about that one. So thank you. It really means a lot. And I absolutely love reading your comments. That conversation actually nudged me straight into what I've been thinking about this week. How do we know when to say yes and when to walk away? Not like the headline drama you post all over social media. What do you think? Yes or no? I'm talking about the little everyday stuff. Do I list these projects and stop crowding my house? Do we plant more veggies or more flowers? Even though Sam doesn't even eat all of them, but that's a different story. I'm sure you've heard it before if you've listened to me for a while. Do we start chickens? Those small yes and no's, they pile up and end up steering our weeks and they weigh us down. I want to keep this very practical and useful. Discernment isn't a secret club or some spiritual test only certain people pass. It's actually a way of deciding that includes prayer, common sense, and a little bit of planning. Here are three simple, real things that I use to help me decide with any decision I'm trying to make. So the first one, make a short list of your non-negotiables. Keep it to three. Mine are family supper, a day off with Sam, and time for my Sabbath. If a yes eats into those, it's an automatic pause. So pick your three, stick them where you can see them. That way, whenever you have a decision to make, you can look at this. All right, number two, don't rely on feelings alone. Feelings matter, y'all. They're part of the whole picture, but they're not the whole thing. After you pray about it, ask one trusted friend. Check the timing and look at the practical pieces. Time, money, who else is it going to affect? I once almost said yes to something that sounded fun until one of my friends said, that'll take your evenings. That one sentence right there, it saved me a lot of stress because I knew that was something that I couldn't do. My evenings are already given to my friends. If you know, you know, you know, if you know, if you don't know, make sure you find out. Okay, number three, give yourself a small decision rhythm because everything's better with music. Okay, so not exactly music rhythm, a different rhythm. Not everything needs an answer right now. I want you to try a 24 to 72-hour rule. Pray, sleep on it, ask one person, then decide. But most of our choices can wait long enough to get a little bit clearer. Do something for me. Think of that one decision that you've been thinking about constantly. You should have it written down on your piece of paper right in front of you, or either you didn't write it down and you thought about it. Look at it on your paper or either think about it. Ask yourself this: does it break my non negotiables? Who can I ask for one honest opinion? Can I wait a day or two? That little check usually brings more clarity than think about it for a week. And it's wild how that works. Did you know that the Bible is actually full of people who had to make big life changing calls? There's Moses. He left a comfortable life in Egypt and chose to stand with his people instead. Esther, she risked her life going before the king just to save her family. We talked about that not too long ago. Paul, he kept changing plans and traveling wherever God opened a door for the good news. And where did he end up? But it's okay. Deborah stepped up to lead when no one else would. David had a chance to grab power, but chose mercy instead of grabbing the throne. And the biggest decision of all was Jesus. In the garden, he prayed, not my will, but yours. And y'all, that one line and everything he did changed our lives forever. Now, I know those are big names and huge moments, but today I want to talk about a man who showed how faith and everyday common sense work together. Nehemiah. And if you haven't read his story, go read Nehemiah chapters 1 through 6, because that's where this comes from. Now, here was what was going on when Nehemiah first heard the news. Picture this, Golden Girl style. Four friends on the porch with a cup of coffee and a slice of cake. The neighborhood gossip is, y'all heard about Jerusalem? Only this time the gossip is worse than a busted fence and a stolen mailbox. Jerusalem looked like somebody let the neighborhood kids loose with sledgehammers and never even stepped outside to say, hey, let that out. The gates were burned, stones were scattered, and big chunks of the wall were just gone. Now, that may sound like a building problem, but it's actually way more than that. No walls to this community, this town, meant no safety, no privacy, and that affect people and their families. People couldn't sleep at night because they were worried about what might come inside. Folks were scattered, and the city felt totally, completely broken inside. Nehemiah wasn't a general or this big famous prophet. He worked in the king's house as a cupbearer. And y'all, the cupbearer, fancy title, but what it really meant was he was a trusted guy who stood close to the king and poured his drink. Cupbearer, pour my drink. Yes. But he also saw how the palace ran. He had a steady life, he had a routine, he had a place at the king's table. He was comfortable, he was safe. Then one day, a man comes all the way from Judah with news about Jerusalem. Imagine hearing that, a city of your people, where like your hometown, in ruins. Nehemiah literally sat down and cried. He didn't pretend he was fine. He cried, he fasted, and he prayed so hard, he spilled his whole heart on the table, confessing, remembering God's promises, asking God to move. That first step was all feeling and honest prayer. But he didn't stop there. He was around the king, probably pouring his drink, and the king noticed Nehemiah's sad face. So Nehemiah took a breath and said, plain as day, this is why I'm sad and a bit brokenhearted. He told the king what he had heard, and he asked if he could go and help rebuild the city. Now, that takes guts. You can't just walk up to a king that you work for and ask for a repairing project the way you ask for a Saturday off. The king could have laughed and said no, but instead, the king listened. And most importantly, he said yes. He gave Nehemiah letters for safe travel, timber for the gates, and authority to move. That part is important. Nehemiah prayed, and then he used the practical help that opened up. Prayer and resources both matter here. Big thing. So remember that. Now, when Nehemiah arrived, he didn't run in the town with a clipboard and a bullhorn and take over and tell everybody this is what's going to happen and this is how we're going to fix this. He actually walked the wall at night. He was alone, it was quiet. He wanted to really see how bad things were. And I love that image, y'all. I can just picture him there with this little tiny lamp studying each broken piece. The gates charred, the gaps big enough to walk through. He wanted to get all the facts before he made any promises or any notion of how he was going to fix it. He wanted to actually know what he was walking into. And that's the kind of common sense that saves a lot of heartache later. How many times do we actually have to make a decision? And before we do anything, we already have all these ideas. We're going to, when you actually need to stop, stand back, and look at the whole situation, kind of outside the box. So, Nehemiah, once he knew the truth, he called all the people together, but he didn't try to be the only fixer upper. He actually made a plan. He organized the work so that family and neighbors each had a part of the wall to repair. The baker worked on a section, the potter worked on a section. Everyone did their little bit. And that was really smart because folks cared about the part that was in front of their house. It wasn't a stranger's project, it was their home. So they hauled stones, they patched the gates, and they worked literally side by side. It was hot, it was tiring, it was dirty work, but people showed up because their lives and their families' lives depended on it. Okay, of course, the project didn't go off without people trying to stop it. You know how people are. Neighbors and rival leaders started plotting and poking at them. Some were even making fun of them. Who do you think you are? Others tried to bring in fear, saying that they would come at night and just burn it all down again. Nia responded like a practical leader. He prayed, yes, but he also took sensible steps. He sent men with tools in one hand and they had a weapon nearby. He said, guards, organize the work in shifts so that people could rest and keep going. He made sure everyone had what they needed to be safe. He didn't pretend it wasn't a danger there. He prepared for it and kept the work moving forward. So, as they were rebuilding the wall and they were all working together, inside the city, there were also problems. Nehemiah found people taking advantage of the others. They were making life miserable for poor families, like loaning money with heavy, big interest. He didn't ignore it. He actually called out to the wealthy who were doing this to their neighbors, and he forced them to stop the bad practices. He handled hard, awkward, personal conversations with folks who were making things worse. It's a hard and ugly conversation to confront your own friends and family. But if you want a team to move forward, you cannot let that happen. Like one bad apple will ruin the whole bunch. I know we've heard it a million times. And so then, of course, you got the gates burnt down, the families are unsafe. They're working on that. The wealthy is taking advantage of the people inside the town. So what happens next? Morale drops. Everybody is sad, they're down. The work was slow and dangerous, and then people got tired. Some leaders even spread rumors trying to frighten the workers. And Nehemiah kept their eyes on the job and reminded them why it mattered so much. He told them, this is for our homes. This is for our families' safety. He kept reiterating that over and over again. He not only kept them organized, but he worked along beside them when he could. That is a lot. When somebody's putting an event on, you have a leader that's taking charge and telling everybody what to do. How many times is that leader jumping in and doing the heavy lifting as well? That speaks volumes, does it not? He also kept praying. Every time the threats came in, he prayed and prayed and prayed. So he used courage, motivation, and common sense. And then, slowly but surely, y'all, that wall went back up. It wasn't overnight, but it was a lot faster than the critics thought possible because everyone had been so organized. The work was shared, they were rotating shifts, and because Nehemiah kept the plan moving. When the last stone was put in place, the people celebrated. They read the law in public. People were crying. It felt like home again. Y'all, that wall was not just stone and mortar. It was dignity. It was safety. It was a place to be proud of. And that means a lot. Nehemiah's story is full of small, clear, easy moves that make such a big difference. He felt the pain and he talked to God about it. He waited for the right moment. He asked the king, and then he checked the reality himself before promising. He went and looked at it and he made a plan. He organized neighbors to do the work together, work in shifts. He protected the workers from real dangers. He even called out the unfairness that was going on inside the town of his own people. And the most important, he stuck with it until the job was completely finished. He wasn't perfect. He didn't have all the answers, but he prayed, he planned, and he did the steady, regular work. That mix of faith and common sense praying, and then doing hard practical work is exactly the kind of thing we can use when we're deciding about selling crafts, starting a side hustle, planting a garden, saying yes to anything that'll tug at our family time. Yes, that list is my list. You have your own list. If you haven't read it, go read Nehemiah, like I said, chapters 1 through 6. It'll give you even more little details than I just told you. When I'm looking at a list and I need to go through all the yeses and nos, I write all the pros and cons. I'm a pro and con list maker. Is that weird? Yes. Whether you're deciding to move across town, start selling soap, or just making it like me, plant tomatoes, build a chicken coop, or even figuring out what's going on for supper tonight, those same little steps help. Nehemiah's story shows a pattern. Notice the problem, pray about it, check things out, get people involved, protect the work, stay motivated, and finish. We can use that at our kitchen table every single time, no matter what decision we're making. Even if you're deciding what color socks you're going to wear today. First thing, feel it. I don't mean having a meltdown, but don't ignore that little knot inside your stomach. If it's something that's been weighing on your brain, nagging you for days, that's your clue. Say it out loud. This is about time, or this is about money, or this is about my sanity. Naming it gives you half the power, and you know exactly what's holding you back or second guessing making the decision. Second, pray simple. None of us need to do great theology in 5 words. Just try, Lord, give me clarity and peace. Say it. Sit there quietly for a minute. Don't overcomplicate it. And then hush. If you're like me, you're going to hold your breath. Just listen for that one line nudge, or the kind of calm that doesn't bounce away 5 minutes later. Number 3, check the facts. Don't decide just on feelings alone. I want you to call one honest friend, not your whole group chat or negative Nancy over there. One honest person who you trust, who will tell you straight up. Look at the practical stuff, time, money. Who else does it affect? Nehemiah walked the wall before he made a plan or promised to fix it. You can walk your wall too, literally or figuratively. Measure, price, calendar it out. Number 4, give it a small test. Now, before you jump all in with both feet, head first, whatever you're doing, make a small batch of soap and see if you actually enjoy the mess and the time it takes to do it. List 5 craft pieces instead of dumping everything at once. Plant 1 tomato plant, not a whole farm. Little tiny tests save big headaches. Once again, this is my list. I tell y'all all the time when I'm talking about stuff in these podcasts, I'm really talking to myself. Y'all just get to listen at the things that I'm deciding about. All right, number 5, watch for the real signs God uses. Here's how to tell a God nudge from a squirrel idea, because if you know me, peace that sticks around. If you pray about it and you still feel calm about it the next day, y'all, that's a good sign. If your so called peace peels away when your phone pings, that was probably just a bit of excitement. If it lines up with good stuff, honesty, rest, family time, not chaos. If the idea asks you to lie, cut corners, or hurt people, that's a definite hard pass right there. Someone wise said the same thing. If you find that one trusted friend that gives you a straight, nope, you don't have time for that, that's going to eat you alive. Listen to them. There are many times we are so dead set on doing something that we don't even listen to reason. Practical doors will open. Nehemiah prayed. Then the king gave him time and the materials. The timing and the resources start lining up. There's your light bulb. That's what I call a God wink. If it's his plan, he will lead you down the path and he will give you all the resources you need to make it happen. And it doesn't feel like panic. If the first voice in your ear is fear or FOMO, pump the brakes. Don't just do something because it's the new trending thing and everybody's doing it. Remember that sourdough craze? Yes, I did jump on that wagon, but hey, I love sourdough. It's so much better for you. It has great benefits. And y'all, just for the record, Gertie is still going strong and a total rock star in my kitchen. I make bread almost, well, I'm not going to say almost every weekend. Some weekends it's every weekend, but at least every other. And then the discard, I make crackers that taste just like Cheez-Its. I make bagels. I make pancakes. My husband, Sam, is obsessed with my sourdough pancakes. He will not eat anything else. Y'all, oh my gosh, curvy back road. Let's bring it right back in. Okay. Now, the flip side, the red flags that say, this is probably not God. So the first one, you're deciding from guilt or people pleasing. If that yes is to keep Aunt Sue over there happy, that is not a God yes. Number two, it's all pressure and no peace. Rush decisions usually come from fear, not faith. Do not let anyone pressure you into doing something you do not want to do or have time to do. Saying no is okay. I give you permission. You can say no. Number three, cutting yourself off from everyone and deciding in secret. Or this decision needs to be kept secret. That's a big red flag. That's not God. Help me look at a couple of my decisions I need to make. So I have the soap idea. This one is up first in line because I've been purchasing amazing soap from a small business. I absolutely love this soap. I love supporting her, but life happened like it always does, and she had to raise her prices, and shipping prices went up. So I looked at the cost for me to make it, her actual recipe she gave out in her book that I purchased, still supporting her, versus what I actually pay her for it. Y'all, it was a no brainer. To get all the supplies I need to make my own is about $100. And I could make 40 to 60 bars of soap. For $50, I can purchase 7 of her bars. And that's not including shipping. I'm not knocking her business. I know support small businesses. They are trying to, support their families with what they do and everything. So what did I do? I bought the supplies. And I actually showed a reel of the me buying the supplies when they came in. I haven't got it up the courage to do it yet, but it's on my to-do list. It's on my to-do list. It is. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I bought the supplies and I'm gonna make a small batch and see how it goes. If it makes sense and is cost efficient without stealing your sleep, keep going. If you're up at midnight wrapping bars, skipping dinner, pump the brakes. That's too much. Now, chicken coop. If you've been with me for an extended period of time, you know I want a whole farm at the house. But my husband does not feel the same way. We need to get on the same page for reals. So, chicken coop, basically the same thing. List the costs, time, feeding, cleanup, predator drama because we live in the middle of the woods, money for lumber. If your non negotiables, family supper, a day off, get eaten up, maybe wait or try a couple of hens first. Don't build a barn and discover that you hate chicken poop. It'll be really good in the garden though. My last decision is crafts piling up. I have 2 rooms of items that I have made that are piling up. I used to do a monthly auction, but I stopped doing that because Facebook. Yeah, whatever. So I see everybody else selling stuff on Whatnot and all of this. I'm not trying to make a huge killing on everything that I've made, but I would like to clean out a little bit of space. I have stuff from last fall. I have stuff from Christmas, from winter. I have snowmen, Santa Clauses, Easter. I have so much stuff. Probably stuff from last summer. Oh, so they're piling up. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick 5 items, maybe 10 a month or maybe a week because I can probably do a week. I'm going to price them and schedule a weekend to ship. Just kind of create a small schedule, a rhythm. That way I'm not panicking every time. Practical stuff to do right now for y'all. You ready? You still have your piece of paper where you wrote down your decision, you held it in your hand, you weighed it out. Is it heavy or not? Write this down. Number one, write your top 3 negotiables on a piece of paper. Put it on your planner because you know me and my planner obsession. If it breaks 2 of those non negotiables, it's probably a no. Number 2, save that one line prayer in your phone. Lord, give me clarity and peace. Use it. Pray about it. Number 3, make a 30-day test plan for the idea. Small, measurable, and reversible. If I start making soap and I love it, but I can't stand the process because the cold soap that I have, oh my goodness, that already starts a curvy back road ADHD moment. But it's okay. The cold soap process that I have, you make it and then it has a cure for 4 to 6 weeks. So there's your downtime. That didn't prove my point, did I? Take 30-day test plan. You get what I'm saying, though. Do a little bit at a time. Do a little bit. See how it works. See how it feels. Now, granted, if it's a big thing like soap making, the first time you do it, it could take an hour or 2 to make it. Who knows? But if it's something that you enjoy doing, once you keep doing it and you get into a rhythm of it, it's not going to take that long. Now, curing time 4 to 6 weeks, that's going to take a bit, but you know. Okay, so look, God cares about the little stuff. Y'all, he cared about a ruined wall, and he cares if you need help making a decision between planting flowers or tomatoes. Discernment is not some perfect spiritual trick. It's a habit. Pray about it. Check the facts. Ask one honest friend. Try it small and watch. See if the door opens or see if it's too much of a headache. Try it once this week. Breathe, pray your one liner, sleep on it, and then make one small move. You got this. Lord, thank you that you are always with us in the little things and the big things. Help us hear your quiet nudges and give us the courage to say yes when it is your yes and the peace to walk away when it's not. Please reach the one listening who is stuck over making a decision, whether it's huge decision or whether it's just for supper. Guide them. Let them use these 3 little simple nudges or these few items to help them with their decision. Give us calm heads, brave hearts, and common sense to go with our faith. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me around the table today. If you're anything like me, you've got to run a list of those little yeses and nos decisions that you just need to sort through. So try those questions, try some of the decision making options that I gave you. Breathe, pray your one liner, sleep on it, and try it. You don't need a dramatic overhaul for your life, just a little yes or no. And if you really like this episode or it made you snort a little coffee, been there, done that. Share it with a friend who needs permission to slow down and make better choices as well. You can always head over to simplyblesseddesigns.com for the notes of the podcast and links to other episodes. There's so much over there. Crafts, gardening tips, recipes, Bible study, and a free Bible study planner. Make sure you grab that. If you love this porch circle table chat we have going on, leave a rating or review wherever you're listening. It is the nicest way and least awkward way to help more folks find our little circle of friends. And we want to grow this. I really appreciate y'all. You have no idea. All right. I'll catch y'all next week. Always remember, be kind to yourself, keep your coffee hot, and don't start building a chicken coop at midnight. Thanks, y'all.